$8 US isn't a lot of money to most people, but is Star Wars Battlefront 2 really worth even that much? Let's talk about that coming right up. Before we get into that though, I wanted to thank the 5 new subscribers that we've gotten over the last 2 weeks. I'll put them up on the screen. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really means a lot to me. Just a quick side note before we get going with the video, I wanted to thank those of you that do follow me over on Twitch, and to those of you who don't, you can check it out right here if you want. Keep in mind that the streaming schedule right now is a little bit scuffed. I just don't have enough time to manage college and YouTube and all this other kind of stuff that's going on right now. So if you do follow me over on Twitch and if you'd like to see more of that, stay tuned. I certainly will get some streaming done this Christmas, and I will update the streaming schedule as soon as I know a little bit more about what comes next. Now, I'm sure as most of you probably know, Steam's autumn sale has already passed, but surprisingly, right around Black Friday, I spotted on Origin that they had a sale of their own. And surprisingly enough, I saw EA's Star Wars series on sale. And that's the same Star Wars series that have been heavily critiqued in every single game they've ever made for having extreme microtransactions, lack of content, and a lot of nasty business practices. Now, for me personally, I heard all the bad press about the first game, I heard the controversy about the second game, and after that I pretty much completely lost interest in the game series, but spotting it on sale for $8 was sort of just an interest call, so I decided to check up and see how this game has progressed since its release back in 2017. Now, this is per no definition a review, I wanted to make that clear. These are my thoughts and my experiences with this game in its current condition with the $8 price tag. Obviously, this game has changed quite a lot since its release, and I'm sure that it will change in the future as well, so keep that in mind as you watch this video, but without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. First and foremost, if you haven't played any of the Battlefront games yet, let me tell you, the game's presentation is absolutely amazing. The transitions, the visuals, the music, it's all absolutely fantastic. I think if anyone was to rate this game just based on that, this game would be a 10. The inclusion of a campaign with a female character that doesn't feel forced or out of place is just like frosting on this whole visual cake that we have. And the first few missions are actually pretty great. Finally, playing on the side of the Empire, you know, like we've all been asking for so long. However, I'm sure as most of you probably know, Iden Versio, Special Forces Commander, main character, ends up committing high treason and converting to the rebellion, and in a ridiculously fast manner, and she just somehow seems to forget the blood of the hundreds of rebels she has on her hands.
12 seconds later.
People like you are the reason hope can prevail.
But oh well, and honestly, the plot just gets a lot worse from there. So the single player experience honestly isn't too unique, so don't bother coming here for that. So this game being an EA title, the game's main selling point is multiplayer. Yeah, you know, multiplayer in Battlefront, Galactic Conquest, Star Battles, maybe some custom matches with AI mixed into it, or maybe just playing with AI alone. So first up, I tried Galactic Assault, and it's actually a pretty damn good mode with decent map and mission variation, good factions, map sizes, and so forth. I would like to see a lot more content from the Galactic Republic, especially from the clone era, although we recently got that. I would love to see a lot more.
Magnificent, aren't they?
But anyway, I finished that, and feeling satisfied, I started to look for Galactic Conquest. Finally, I realized it's not in the game. That in on itself is a huge disappointment, but honestly I didn't really have my hopes that high in the first place, hearing so much negative press about this game. So at the very least, I wanted to play Conquest. You know, regular Conquest. The one game mode where you have the total amount of reinforcements and you try and conquer bases from one another. The mode that like every single multiplayer focused FPS has had since like 2001. Well, it's not here either. And honestly, that is sort of where the tide started to turn for my opinion about this game. How can there be a game in 2018 without the most basic ass multiplayer map mode? It's not really asking for that much, is it? Just to have a very basic conquest mode. The shocking thing here is that EA even posted a poll where people could vote for what features they wanted the most. The most popular one? Surprise, surprise, Galactic Conquest. What'd you expect? At the very least, we do get starship battles, which is actually in on itself pretty great. And as I mentioned earlier, the sounds and the visuals are absolutely amazing. There's also heroes and villains, but honestly, the Jedi combat in this game is so dull and clunky, it just ends up with button smashing. I'm honestly a little surprised that the combat, especially the saber combat, is this dull, when there's games made back in the early 2000s that have far better lightsaber-based combat, like the entire Jedi Knight series. Also one of my first games ever. So this game by no means has great lightsaber-based combat, and the other modes, other than Galactic Assault, feel very bland. Finally, in multiplayer, there's Operations, where you actually have pretty cool game modes like Ewok Hunt, Extraction, and Blast. And excited as I was, I queued up for a match of Ewok Hunt. And I queued some more. And I queued some more. I queued in 30 minutes for both Extraction and Ewok Hunt without finding a match. And in the end, I just gave up. I found a match instantly with the Blast game mode, which is actually a pretty fun game mode. It's a very simple game mode with CQB styles and very small maps, and a manpower counter, and the first one to drain the other faction's manpower wins. It's pretty straightforward, simple fun, but it does go to show that since nobody is playing Extraction and Ewok Hunt, there must be something wrong with those game modes, or they're just not popular with players at the very least. Lastly, in arcade, there's Custom Arcade, which pretty much honestly just takes a steaming hot dump over this entire game's fanbase. Every aspect of arcade mode is insulting. The limitations to the settings are mind-boggling. The AI is so brain-dead and easy to kill, you're instantly bored. Even on impossible difficulty. There's a very limited amount of maps and factions to play, and like I said earlier, no conquest mode. But in Custom Arcade, you don't even get Galactic Assault, so the only options that you have are a few very basic shit game modes, where no matter which one you choose, the premises is the same. You, your friendlies, and the enemy team randomly just spawns around in a very small map and you kill each other. That's it, it's all the same. And then there's battle scenarios, and these are all so cheaply crafted and boring, it will even shock people who have absolutely no experience in gaming. There's 3 difficulty levels, or tiers, to each mission, but they are more or less the exact same. Kill 50 enemies within a time limit, or kill 50 enemies with a team without a time limit. In the first difficulty, you have full HUD and everything is normal. In the second difficulty, the map is dark, and in the third one, you have no abilities or HUD. That's it, it's all the same for all the maps, the only difference is that the AI apparently gets harder to kill. So honestly, I feel like arcade mode is just sort of a thing they added to a list that they could put it on the box cover of the game or something to please fans. But honestly, the things I've mentioned so far aren't honestly even the worst parts about this game. At first, when I started playing this game a little over a week ago, I was honestly shocked to see how little content there actually was from the prequels and the original movies. To EA's credit though, they have now finally added in a few more maps, characters, and game modes from the prequels, which I find to be highly pleasing. But overall, there was a big overemphasis on the new movies and the new storyline, which is confusing to me considering what most people want to see is stuff from the original storyline and the prequels, not the new movies, who by all means have been relatively bashed by the fans, and I suspect that they added this content from the new movies to please Disney shareholders and copyright managers. Finally, moving on to customization. This game has gone through quite a controversy surrounding this, and just a TLDR for those of you who haven't been paying attention, when this game was released, players found big, really important characters like Darth Vader locked behind insane microtransactions and paywalls, or extremely excessive playtime needed to unlock these characters. And at the end of the day, Disney, according to rumors, forced EA's hand to unlock a lot of these characters and customization. The problem is that EA did not only remove the paywalls, they actually also removed a lot of the customization. So currently there's no customization for Stormtroopers, or any troopers at all from the First Order, and the Galactic Empire. It's just been completely removed alongside with the Separatists for whatever reason. There's been talk of the customization coming back alongside with the paywalls, but for now we'll just have to see what happens next. In addition, some classes are locked behind certain genders in some of the factions, like you can't play as a male officer or a male sniper in the Rebellion, but you can in the Galactic Empire. It just goes to show which faction Disney created. I would like to see it be completely unlocked, where you can actually change your gender both ways across all faction, and not including the Separatists. I think everyone would be happy to see that. Finally, the last thing I want to rant about is something that really grinds my gears, and it should grind your gears as well if you're thinking about picking up this game. It's the fact that you can't choose what map nor what faction you want to play on. So let's say you want to play the Galactic Republic on Endor for some reason, or you want to play the Galactic Republic on Camino, or on Geonosis, the new map. Or maybe you wanted to play the Rebel Alliance on Endor, or whatever it may be. There is no way to do that at the moment. So if you want a certain map and a certain faction, what do? You have to keep re-queuing for multiplayer Galactic Assault over and over again until you get the right map and the right faction. When you get a match, it will give you a little status bar that says joining X map on X setting, whatever. But it won't tell you what faction you're joining as. So if you're joining on Geonosis, it won't say what faction you're playing as. So you'll end up quitting the match and re-queuing until you get the right faction. And it's extremely frustrating because this is an issue that was persistent in the first game as well, and people were complaining about it in large numbers, posting about it on different forums and different sites, and nothing has been done to fix it. It's still a huge, really frustrating issue if you want to play as a certain faction, and you most likely will. So if you're jumping into this game and you want to play a certain faction or something, just get ready to re-queue over and over again, because it's the only way to play as a certain faction on a certain map, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you can't actually choose that on your own. So, finally, down to the question at hand. Is this game worth between 8 to 10 of your hard-earned dollars? The answer is maybe, completely depending on what kind of player you are. If you're here for the single player, the answer is just straight up no. No. Honestly, if you want to experience the campaign, just go on YouTube and watch a couple of videos and be glad you didn't waste your money on this garbage product. If you're the kind of player who is here for the custom skirmishes with the grand AI and the battles and all that kind of stuff, the answer is no, because it doesn't exist. If you're the kind of player who is going to jump into this game alone in multiplayer, the answer is maybe. You can probably have some fun here, but you'll still be disappointed over how much this game lacks in terms of content. And finally, if you're jumping into this game and you have a friend who is willing to join you, you can definitely have some fun here. The new squad function is quite fun, and all the maps and the factions and stuff are all cool. However, at this point, giving your money to EA is pretty much like giving your money to the devil. At this point, we all know that EA is destroying games, they're destroying gaming communities, and they're destroying our favorite gaming companies. Just think of Visceral Games, Origin Systems, Bullfrog, Westwood Studios, Mythic, Maxis, Kesmai, Pandemic, DreamWorks, and so many other of our favorite gaming companies that have been disbanded under the control of EA. Say no to EA, say no to this game, don't give them your money unless you're a hardcore fan, or at the very least, you have a couple of friends who are willing to join you in this game. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoy this type of content, you can give it a like. If not, you can give it a dislike, but please don't. You can subscribe if you want to see content similar to this, or if you want as well, you can follow me up on Twitch. I stream there sometimes, which is very fun. We have some people stopping by every once in a while. It's great fun. Why don't you stop by? With that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that is. Take care. Bye-bye.